Good morning, students. Good morning to all. On last day, we have studied about the natural resources and the demographic trends in these populations. Today, just we will go to the another one of the concepts. Today, we will study about the economic infrastructures. Economic infrastructures. The infrastructural development means the development of many support facilities. Some of the support facilities, some of the support factors will be developed for the purpose of developing the infrastructure facilities. The economic infrastructure includes the transport, communications, energy, irrigations, monetary and financial institutions. These all things have to increase and have to be developed. Then only we can say the economic infrastructures are increasing or the economic infrastructures are developed. The social infrastructure includes the education, training and research, health, housing and civic amenities. So the economic infrastructure is the support system which helps in facilitating the production and distributions. So if we want to increasing our production capacity and the level of distributions, we must increasing our economic infrastructures. So without increasing the infrastructure facilities, we cannot increasing the we cannot bringing the increaseness in the production and distributions. For instance, the railways, tracks, posts and telegraph office, ports, canals, power plants, banks, insurance companies, etc. are all economic infrastructure of an economy. So if any of the factors of any of the things are not increasing, we cannot bring the more productions. So they help in the production of goods and services. So if there is no transport, there is no insurance companies, there is no warehouse facilities, we will not have the been the economic infrastructures. For example, if you are taking the transport facilities, for the sustained economic growth of a country, a connected and efficient transport system is needed. So then only we can bringing the produced commodities from the place of production to place of consumers. So India has a good network of rail, road, coastal shipping and air transport. The total length of roads in India being over 30 lakhs kilometers. So India has one of the largest road networks in the world. In terms of railroads, India has a broad network of railroad lines, the largest in Asia and the fourth largest in the world. The total rail route length is about 63,000 kilometers and this 30,000 kilometers is electrified. So Visakhapatnam, Mumbai and the Calcutta also considered as a major Indian ports. A comprehensive network of air routes connects the major cities and towns of the countries. The domestic air services are being looked after by Indian Airlines and private airlines. The international airport service is looked after by Air India. So Indian Railways also provides the Wi-Fi facilities first in India as Bangalore railway stations. In these Bangalore railway stations only, the Indian government provided the Wi-Fi facilities in these railway stations. Next, the energy. The energy also one of the important factor, one of the important infrastructures. So electrical energy is one of the necessary components of our life. So nowadays, without electricity, we cannot survive in the world of technology. So if you want to use all the machines and all the technologies, even in this IT field, So the energy is very much important. So the energy sources are classified under the two heads based on the non-renewable energy and the renewable energy. So non-renewable energy means, as the name suggests, the sources of energy which cannot be renewed or reused. So if you are not able to reuse the energy, it is called non-renewable energy. So basically these are the energy sources which will get exhausted over a period of time. Some of the example of the kind of resources are coal, oil, gas, petroleum. This type of the products are not able to renewables. Once if you are using, it will be over. You cannot reproductions. Next, renewable energy. So these are the kind of energy sources which can be renewed or reused again and again. So these kind of materials do not exhaust, or literally speaking, these are available in abundant or infinite quantity in natural also. For example, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy, and biomass energy. These all the types of energy also we can produce from the natural, from again and again. Even if we are using many times, we can produce more. Sometimes the renewable sources are also called non-conventional sources of energy. Since these kinds of materials are these ways of energy productions were not used earlier or conventionally. Next, the social infrastructure. The social infrastructure refers to those structures which are improving the quality of manpower and contribute indirectly towards the growth of an economy. So the manpower are the human resources. The human resources also have to be increased by the economy. So by the way of increasing the human powers or the human resources, the Indian economy will be developed. These structures are outside the system of production and the distributions. So after the production of goods and services, so we have to provide or distributed to the many areas throughout the world. So without having the human powers, we cannot do it. The development of the social structures help in increasing the efficiency and productivity of the manpower. For example, schools, college, hospitals, and other civic amenities. So if they are considering the education is considered as a investment and the other also. It is a fact that one of the reasons for the low productivity of Indian workers is the lack of development of social infrastructures. The productivity of the workers have to be increased. For that, the government must be providing the training schemes. So nowadays, the government also providing the many training schemes for the government employees. The status and the developments in the social infrastructures in India are discussed below. So first, education in India. If you are taking the educations, how the educations situations are being in India. So imparting education on an organized basis dates back to the days of Gurukul in India. So we know first of the educational facilities and imparting education or the organized the educations basis on the Gurukul. Since then the Indian educations has flourished and developed with the growing needs of economy. The Ministry and Human Resource Development in India formulates the education policy in India and also undertakes education programs. So what are the programs are there? It was taken by the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Next, economic, the education system in India. So education in India until 1976 was the responsibility of the state governments. It was then brought under the concurrent list. The center is represented by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, decides the Indian education budget. The education system in India consists of primary six levels. First one is nursery class, next primary class, next secondary level and higher secondary level, graduations and post graduations. Next, education institutions in India. Education in India follows the 10 plus 2 patterns. For higher education, there are various state run as well as private institutions and universities providing a variety of courses and subjects. The accreditation of the university is decided under the University Grant Commissions Act. The University Grant Commissions Acts are there. Under the acts only, the accreditations of university is decided. The education department consists of various schools, colleges, and universities imparting education on fair means for all sections of the societies. Next, health. Health also one of the infrastructural factors. So if you are growing our economy and if you are not improving the health of the people in our nations, so the Indian economy also will be fell down. So health in India is a state government responsibilities. The Central Council of Health and Welfare formulates the various healthcare projects and health department reform the policies. The administration of health industry in India as well as the technical needs of the health sector are the responsibility of the Ministry of Health and Welfare. Healthcare in India has many forms. Okay students, next we will study about the contribution of Indian economic thinkers. Some of the Indian economic thinkers also contribute their thoughts to improving our Indian economy. First, the Thiruvalluvar. We have studied about the Thiruvalluvar. So, the economic ideas of Thiruvalluvar are found in his immortal work, Thirukural, a book of ethics. So, even though scholars differ widely over the estimation of the period of Thiruvalluvar, so it is generally believed that he belongs to the Sangam age in Tamil Nadu around the 3rd century. A large part of Valluvar's economic ideas are found in the second part of Tirukural, that Purutpal. We have studied, in Tamil. So Purutpal, many of the economic thoughts was there. So it deals with the wealth. So mostly if you are considering the Purutpal, so it was dealing with the wealth only. So Thiruvallu was a fundamental thinker. He believes that rains are the basic support of life. So without rain, no one will live in our earth. Since rain provides food in forms of the basis for stable economic life. So according to the Thiruvalluvar, if you are getting the reasonable or the sufficient level of the rainfall only is enough, it will be bringing the many wealth. Because if you want to cultivate the food items, the rain or the water is important. So we will get the water from the rain only. So only he told the rain only is the important factor to our lives. So it is rain that both ruins and aids the ruin to rise. So in whichever area, so Thiruvallur thought was there, means first the factors of productions. How Thiruvallur told as a factor of productions. So Thiruvallur has made many passing references about the factors of productions, land, labor, capital, and organizations. So time, technology, etc. He says, unfalling harvest, competent body of men, group of men whose wealth knows diminutions are the components of economy. So all the factor of productions has to be increased. Next, agriculture. What did he says about the agriculture means according to Truvalvar? So agriculture is the most fundamental economic activity. So they are the axial pin of the world. For on their prosperity revolves prosperity of the other sections of the economy. So if the other sections of the economy want to increase or improve, we must increasing the development of agriculture. So without the development of agriculture, other sectors also not be increased. The blowman alone, he says, live as the free man of the soil. Blowman means the agriculture, the farmers. The farmers only is the free man in the world because he has never depending upon other factors to live. Even if the industrial sector peoples or the laborers or the producers want to produce any of the commodities, we must depending upon the agriculture. So many raw material for any of the production is coming from the agriculture. Next, public finance. What did he says about the public finance in this Tirukural? So Thiruvalur has elaborately explained public finance under the heading public revenue, financial administrations and public expenditure. He has stated this as creation of revenue, collection of revenue, management of revenue and public expenditures. So he also told about the public finance in the protocol part. Next, public expenditures. So Valur has recommended as a balanced budget. It is not a great misfortune for a state if its revenues are limited, provided the expenditure is kept within the bounds. So if we have the power to earning more income, so we can able to spend more amount to increase in the economic development. He also has given certain guidelines for the budgetary policies. The budget for a surplus, if possible, balance the budget at other times, but never budget for a deficit. So he also told about the balanced budget, recommended the balanced budget. Next, external assistance. So Valur was against seeking external assistance. So according to Kural number 1739, the countries taking external assistance are not to be considered as countries at all. So in other words, he advocated a self-sufficient economy. The Valur also told or recommended to the self-sufficiency. So if we have the self-sufficiency power only, we will be able to live in our mind. Next, poverty and begging. So Valur considers freedom from hunger as one of the fundamental freedoms that should be enjoyed by every citizen. So we must eradicate all the poverty and the begging. If any one of the man got the freedom from the hunger, that is the real freedom for these nations. So according to him, poverty is the root cause of all other evils, which would lead to everlasting sufferings. Because if he has the poverty and if you are unable to earning some amount of money, we will fall into the bad things. So it is to be noted that the number of people living below poverty line, so begging, sleeping on the roadsides, and the rag picking in India has been increasing. But still, we unable to know about the problem of poverty and the begging. So even if the governments are increasing the many employment opportunities, some of the workers are unable to earning more income, and still we cannot eradicate the poverty as fully. Next, wealth. So Valur has regarded wealth as only a means and not an end. So he said, acquire a great fortune by noble and honorable means. So even if the governments are able to making the more income, that income and the wealth must be created in the honorable ways. He he condemned the wealth and the hoarding and described hoarded wealth as a profitless richness. He also against the hoarding money by the way of rich peoples. According to him, the industry is real wealth and labor is the greatest resources. He also advocated are favorable to the development of industrial sector also. Next, welfare state. So Thiruvallur is for a welfare state. He also referred the welfare state. In a welfare state, there will be no poverty literacy, disease, and industries. As a welfare state must be providing the many facilities to their peoples. So if they are giving the many facilities and if they are taking the effort to eradicating the poverty, so the poverty literacy and diseases also will be eradicated. The important elements of a welfare state are perfect health of the people without any diseases. So without any diseases, if any of the governments as one of the nations, it is the welfare. Next, abundant wealth. So the nations must be able to increasing or earning more wealth and good crops. So we must cultivating the good crops without any of the chemical fertilizers. And prosperity and happiness. So the people always being in the prosperities are the happiness mind. Next, full security for the peoples. Your nations must providing the protecting force to the peoples. Okay, students, I think it's enough. So just to take the contribution of Indian economic thing as your study portions. If you have any doubt, please ask me. Thank you.